Good afternoon, everyone. Deputy Minister Ms. Işıkgece, His Excellency Sir Dominick Chilcott, the Honorable Ümit Yalçın, President of DEİK, Mr. Olpak, and distinguished guests. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar organized by DEİK, focusing on opportunities of investment and trade cooperation between Turkey and the United Kingdom in the areas of agriculture and livestock. Before I start, a small housekeeping reminder. There is Turkish-English simultaneous translation in the conference. You may select the language you'd like to hear by clicking on Interpretation button. If you would like to listen to the conference in English, you should click on English. If you would like to listen to the conference in Turkish, then please click on Japanese. It's a bit tricky. I would like to start by thanking our esteemed speakers for agreeing to be part of the discussion and taking the time out of their busy schedules to be with us today. It is without doubt that their participations will enhance and enrich our conversation today. And thank you all again. It's my opinion that agriculture and livestock sector present a unique and timely opportunity, especially considering the mutual enthusiasm and determination of both governments to widen the newly signed free trade agreement in the near future. This willingness by the respective governments encourages us to collaborate further and achieve better results. Food security remains one of the most critical issues that our planet faces at the moment. While we know that the increasing proportion of people are already being affected from this alarming issue, this trend will likely to continue in the coming years. Scientists and experts argue that climate change will alter our ecosystem, turn fertile fields into barren lands, which in turn will put millions of people at the risk of hunger and eventually displacing them from their current homes. Our generation must urgently look for ways to prevent those atrocities. As Sir Winston Churchill once said, there is no finer investment for any community than putting milk into babies. Our businesses in these sectors must find innovative measures to feed a growing population of people. Finishing my remarks, I wish everyone a great webinar, and I look forward to hearing how the businesses from the two countries can find ways of collaboration in the face of the challenges that will define the 21st century. Thank you very much. Now I'm turning to Mr. Nail Olpak, President of DEİK, for his valuable comments. Nail Bey, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Osman Bey. Deputy Minister Ms. Ayşin Işıkgece, Excellency Ambassadors Mr. Ümit Yalçın and Sir Dominick Chilcott, dear participants, of course, Chairperson, our Chairperson again, Osman Bey. Yes, first of all, I wish a healthy day for all of us, and it is a pleasure for us to bring together Turkish and British business people where we are going to discuss how we can improve, first of all, the agriculture and the livestock sectors between our countries. When we look at the both countries, the UK is our third largest trade partner and one of the most important investor countries for us, and this is quite important. So we are pleased to take a critical step by signing a free trade agreement recently at the last days of the last year. I hope the deal will be reflected positively in bilateral investments and will increase our trade volume in the coming years, of course, in the positive way. We are also glad that the new deal is covering industrial goods as well as most agricultural goods. But there is a room to improve. So today we have a chance to talk about how we can use these opportunities. I'm not going into detail about these specific sectors. It will be discussed during the panel. But when we look at the bilateral trade volume, yes, we are mainly about that. And here I believe the main responsibility belongs to the business community. and we should work harder after this FTA. Some additional opportunities, of course, can be found in the fields of health, infrastructure, where we are always speaking, education and information technologies in the future. And it's worth underlining that all of the above is directly or indirectly affecting the development of creating more efficient agriculture and livestock business by ensuring high quality standards in education, industry-university collaboration, and other relevant components of the sectors. If you allow me, I want to continue with some evaluations regarding with COVID-19. Of course, I'm not going to speak about the health aspect. Also, I'm not going to discuss details about the social distance working from home, but it is also important for our business life, because the pandemic indeed presents us with enormous challenges, whether individually or by private sector side. Such as today, yes, we are having, instead of having physical gatherings, where we are doing in the past, we are having online meetings, and it seems later on, even if we just come over this pandemic problem, we are going to use this advantage. But apart from that, in the past, we were speaking about globalization for years, and it was really important. But during this pandemic, we also started to speak about globalization. That means we are combining globalization and localization. I think this is one of the important points. We should take a note on that. The second important point I want to touch, we have been normally, we speak about economics of scale when we are speaking about competition. But now, again, with the effects of the pandemic, we have realized that there is a problem also relying on one major supplier or limited major supplier. So that means only scales are not the main parameters. So we should take an important note for that. And eventually supply chains. Of course, supply chain is also important for the business life, but supply chain and sustainability together with availability have gained an even more significance than ever. I believe those are the points that we should really focus in general, I mean, not in specifically in details. Of course, we don't exactly know which sectors will be rising ones, although we have a clear idea as to which business may benefit from more than the others. But I believe the ones who can secure the supply chain and build up the real trust with the counterparts will be the winners. Just like it was in the past, this will be the defining word in the future among trading partners. I would like to finish my speech with a British saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained. As business representatives, we are aware of that. I believe we will continue to work harder to improve our economic relations for the upcoming period. Thank you.
Thank you, Nail, for your insightful thoughts. And our next speaker will be His Excellency Sir Dominick Chilcott, Her Majesty's Ambassador to Turkey. Mr. Ambassador, I would like to thank you for being here with us and joining the discussion once again. And the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Osman Bey. Deputy Minister for Agriculture and Forestry for the Republic of Turkey, Ayşe Işıkgece, Mr. Osman Okyay, Chairman of DEİK, Mr. Nail Olpak, President of DEİK, His Excellency Mr. Ümit Yalçın, the Turkish Ambassador to the Court of St. James in London, members of DEİK, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. According to Maslow's famous hierarchy of needs, food, water, warmth, and rest are humanity's most fundamental requirements. With a rising global population and living with the consequences of climate change, as Osman Bey said a little earlier, droughts, flooding, increased desertification, soil erosion, we as mankind risk undermining our ability to produce the food we need So in food production, as in so many other areas of life these days, we need innovation and creativity as never before. So I'm very pleased that DEİK should have taken the initiative to see how Turkey and the UK might cooperate in future on agriculture and livestock. It is from this sort of cooperation between the agricultural powerhouse that is Turkey and the agri-technology and innovation leader that is the UK that will enable us to make our agri-food sectors more efficient, more sustainable, with benefits for our farmers and agri-businesses, for our consumers, and perhaps for the wider world. Encouraging exports, promoting investment, and opening up further existing and new markets are the core objectives that the UK's Department for International Trade has identified for the agri-tech sector. Now, in terms of British-Turkish trade, there's a lot of untapped potential in this sector. Turkey exported some £400 million of agri-food to the UK in 2019, which represented, by value, only about 4.5% of all Turkey's exports to the UK that year. That looks far too small. But the UK did even worse. We exported only £167 million of agri-food products to Turkey in the same year, which is a paltry 2.8% by value of our exports to Turkey. So while Turkey enjoys a significant trade surplus in agricultural products, both our countries should be looking to grow the agricultural relationship. And now that the UK has left the European Union, it should be easier to do so. Indeed, the fact that Britain is an independent trading nation once more, after nearly 50 years of EU membership, constitutes a decisive moment for the UK agricultural economy. As part of the EU's common commercial policy, we were unable to lower barriers to agricultural trade with Turkey. And the European Union's anti-innovation approach in the agricultural sector held back British farmers. The EU's instincts to protect the agricultural economies in the south of the European Union obliged Britain to live with high tariff walls with Turkey and indeed with the rest of the world. British producers, for example, faced up to 26% tariffs on beef going to the American market, or 150% tariffs on Scotch whisky to India. This went against the instincts and the interests of the British business community. But now the UK, as an independent trading nation, can set our own tariffs and deal with those issues that have kept trade in agri-food and drink underdeveloped. We hope to reach new markets with our world-class agricultural products and enable British consumers to enjoy quality and varied produce from countries outside the European Union. The recently signed free trade agreement between our countries does not include in any significant way fresh agricultural products in its scope. But our governments have committed themselves to begin negotiations on a comprehensive free trade agreement within 2 years that will include all agricultural products, or nearly all. With our different climates, we are generally not competing with each other in this sector. Reaching an agreement on such a comprehensive free trade agreement would be an important step in growing our bilateral trade across the board, but perhaps especially in agriculture. Now, Turkish people may not have a high opinion of British food or British agricultural produce, but I think if Turkish customers got to know us better, they might be impressed by our production standards, which are second to none, from food and animal welfare to the environment, our quality systems, which assure consumers that high standards are followed, as they say, from farm to fork, and our diversity with high quality products from all parts of the United Kingdom, like English cheddar cheese, Welsh lamb, Scottish salmon, and Northern Irish beef. As well as building up exports in both directions, there's also an opportunity to encourage greater mutual investment in this sector. We start from a strong position with UK investment in the alcoholic beverage sector with Diageo, in animal feed with Yemvit Devenish, and in poultry breeding stock with Aviagen Turkey. And from Turkey to the UK too, we've seen investment in processed food production with United Biscuits, dried and frozen fruits with Işıkgece, and dried fruit and nuts with Pagmat UK. In order to reach the full potential of our trade and investment in agricultural products, we will need to work together to remove barriers and obstacles, which can be very tricky and politically sensitive in this sector. But I believe that our two governments have the political will to overcome such problems and give this sector much greater priority in future as it deserves. For no one can deny there is huge potential here. I look forward to today's discussion. Thanks once again to DEİK, and thank you for listening to me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ambassador Chilcott. Those were crucial points you have highlighted, and I trust our listeners have also enjoyed them. The following speaker is the Honorable Ümit Yalçın, Turkey's ambassador to the UK. Sayın Büyükelçim, once again, thank you very much for joining us today, joining our webinar today. And the floor is yours, please.
Dear Deputy Minister, dear friends from DEİK, Chairman Nail Bey, and Head of Business Council Osman Bey, and dear Ambassador Chilcott, dear friend Dominick, and distinguished guests. Hello, everyone, and I hope this meeting will be fruitful for all of us. And it's a great pleasure for me attending another DEİK event, this time covering another area between Turkey and UK, agriculture and livestock, animal husbandry industry, which presents many opportunities for increasing trade between Turkey and UK. In the last 5-6 months, I participated in many different meetings, webinars about our bilateral relations with the UK. I remember one of them was about science, industry and innovation. Another one was about post-Brexit relationship in security. The third one was free trade agreements and the new expectations. And today we are going to talk agriculture area. And only these 4 meetings showed us the importance of our relations with the UK and the diversity of our, the need to diversify our relations in different fields with the UK. And also it is very hopeful and encouraging for all of us to see mutual determination and will in developing and strengthening our ties with the UK. Turkey and UK are close trade partners, and economic trade, investment, tourism, defense industry, security cooperation are driving forces in our deep-rooted relations. And despite pandemic, our trade volume did not decrease. And therefore, it is not surprising that Turkey has been the first country with which UK signed a free trade agreement after its trade deal with the EU. The FTA enabled the smooth continuation of our trade in goods and certain agricultural good products. It provided predictability for Turkish and British businesses, and it will enable us to further deepen our trade ties while maintaining the gains of the EU customs union. In line with the provisions of the FTA, Turkey and UK will commence a review towards modernizing and expanding the free trade agreement within 2-year time. Enhancing cooperation and trade in agriculture and livestock industry is even more important under the current global circumstances. Global supply chains were disrupted during the pandemic. However, Turkey presents many alternative supply opportunities in UK's near neighborhood. According to DEFRA, Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, in 2019, the UK supplied just over half, 55%, of the unprocessed food consumed in the UK. The food production to supply ratio for all food in UK in 2019 was 64%. The rest was imported from abroad. The three largest value imported commodity groups in UK in 2019 were fruit and vegetables, meat and beverages. The total value of food, feed and drink imports of UK was 47.9 billion pounds in 2019. Turkey ranks the first in terms of agricultural output in Europe and is among the top 10 countries in the world. Therefore, it will be a great source of alternative supply in this area for the UK. And its geographical proximity to UK is also a great advantage. Turkey's agriculture-based exports rose by 6.3% year on year in the first 9 months of 2020, even during the pandemic. Turkey exports more than 1,800 kinds of agricultural products to around 200 countries. However, UK's agriculture, food, and livestock imports from Turkey was around $600 million in 2018 and $606 million in 2019. I believe Turkey's share in UK's imports could be increased significantly. Inclusion of additional agricultural products to the FTA would also expedite this. This would also contribute to UK's food supply security. Also, as we stated in the Turkish new economic program for 2021-2023, Turkey aims to increase agricultural production and productivity through new generation entrepreneurs, technologies, and contracted agriculture. I believe this will also open up new venues of cooperation in the field of agriculture for Turkish and UK businesses. Of course, with UK's exit from the EU, certain regulations are changing. For instance, our Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry has recently asked for updated information about the plant protection products manufacturing permits license issued by UK authorities for exports from UK to Turkey. Therefore, I think it could also be beneficial if representatives from the Ministries of Agriculture of Turkey and UK could get together in a video conference for coordination in these matters. In the last 6 months period, all our high-level officials and ministers talk with their counterparts on the phone. Minister of Health, Minister of Tourism, Minister of Interior, Minister of Defense, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Now today, it's hopeful that our Deputy Minister of Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry is with us. And that is very important to listen to her and our policies in this area and our potentials of cooperation with the UK. Thank you very much, DEİK, and thank you very much all distinguished guests for listening to us today. I hope this meeting will give us new hopes and expectations in this area. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, for your interesting and enlightening speech. And we are now going to a session where we will have the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Forestry of Turkey, Ms. Ayşin Işıkgece, sharing her remarks with us. Madam Minister, I would like to thank you again for joining our discussion today, and we look forward to hearing your vision in regards with the current topics. And Minister Işıkgece, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much. High Excellencies, Dominick, Chilcott, and Ümit Yalçın, dear President of DEİK, Olpak, and Head of DEİK Business Council, Osman, Okyay, and all participants. I will show you presentation now. Let me show the presentation, and I will continue with type of presentation. Is it clear for you? Full ekran.
Yes.
Tekrar bas. Okay. Şunu yukarıya kaldıralım resimleri. Okay. First of all, I will start with pandemic. During pandemic, agriculture and food are most important sectors, as you know. In many countries, there were market lines and empty shelves, which we followed altogether. During pandemic, countries are protectionist and they closed their borders. Import and export balance was destroyed. We had some problems on supply and logistics sectors, especially. There was demand and supply imbalance. Government put limitation on going out in cities and traveling. We warned the sector before the pandemic comes to Turkey. We learned a lot from China. We learned a lot from Italy, what's happening, and it was first time which we had, and we followed all together, as you know. And according to observation, which we saw from the market, we did a lot in our side. We made really beneficial meetings together with private sector every day, more than 10 times, in order to see if our stocks, food stocks, are enough for us, if we check our stocks or not. Because the other countries, including Turkey, they checked their stocks and borders were closed. We had really good examples in Turkey. I will give you one example. For example, for sea-bream, Turkey is really important, as you know, export country for European countries. And we couldn't send the articles. They are fresh article, you know, sea-bream, and we couldn't send that article. In country, by itself, we made big campaign in order to finish that stocks together with retail sector, together with private sector, and everybody did such a things. I mean, it was really totally different what we did before. We effectively guided retail chains and we took all necessary measures. Logistic chain were managed effectively. Food and retail sector were organized. Agricultural production worked continuously. It was really important. It was really huge message which we give to the producers, and they didn't stop. They worked continuously. It was really important. And food production and manufacturing facilities were exempt from bans. And this is the first time we experienced pandemic, and it showed the importance of agricultural once again. When we check our credit card debit, we saw only food. We couldn't see hairdresser, we couldn't see some trousers buying, not. It was only food buying in our credit card debit. And it showed the importance of agriculture once again. Meanwhile, many countries kept their borders closed to preserve their stocks. There has been serious problem in food supply and demand around the world. It became important whether countries manage themselves effectively. Digitalization, alternative markets, providing health food to people, and ecotourism became really important. I would like to show you some figures. Despite pandemic and meteorological droughts, Turkey had plant production record in country history. In 2020, Turkey has 124 million tons plus production with 7 million tons of increase. Turkey's number of cattle is 18.6 million heads, and Turkey is the second country in Europe. Turkey's number of sheep and goat is 55.1 million heads, and Turkey is the first country again in Europe. Yesterday, it was announced that Turkey's agricultural growth by 4.8% in 2020. Turkey's agricultural revenue increased by 20%. For agricultural turnover, Turkey is the first in Europe and top 10 in the world. Turkey is a net exporter country in agriculture. In 2020, export of agricultural and food products increased by 5%, and it means $20.7 billion. Our foreign trade surplus increased by 9%, and it means $5.5 billion. We exported we exported 1,982 types of agricultural products to 205 different countries. We are the leader in the export of 5 products around the world, such as nut, apricot, dried figs, quince, and raisin. Food loss and waste is one of the most important problems in the world. It is expected that world population will be 10 billion and Turkey's population will be 100 million by 250. We need a 60% increase in the production to meet the food demand in 2050. Turkey is a bridge in the region. We are within a 4-hour flight distance to 40% of the world. Turkey has a crucial market share in the region with its production, power, and the young population. United Kingdom is our 4th most important trading partner in Europe and 8th most important trading partner in the world. You can see from that chart, I was late. And Turkey exports many products to United Kingdom. You can see the products and ratios here. Apple juice, 10%, for example. Fresh fish, fileto, 18%. Canned citrus, 22%, frozen fish fileto, 74%. We have, for some sectors, really huge percentages here. Turkey has 540,000 hectares for organic agriculture. We are at 13th place in the world. And compared to other countries, we have bigger organic agricultural land. Our export was $361 million with 265,000 tons in 2018. We aim to increase organic agricultural land in Turkey, increase our product exports to $550 million. Especially geographic design article is really important for us. Maybe you saw our minister always, he's mentioning about geographical indication articles, which is really rich in our country. We apply for geographically indications to EU. Number of these products are increasing every day. We have really rich capacity on these articles. We have 5 EU registered products. These are Antep baklava, Aydın fig, Milas olive oil, Malatya apricot, and Aydın chestnut. And also we are increasing the quantity of that article. We expect expect that our two products on the advertisement for EU and registration soon, taş köprü garlic and Bayramiç nectarine. We have 16 products applying for EU registration, such as Kayseri pastrami, Antep pistachio, Gemlik olive, Giresun nuts, and Çağlayan Cerit walnut. Another topic, it is really important, especially during the pandemic, which we did. This is a special portal. Digital agricultural market is a special portal where producer and buyers come together in order to make agreed production. This is a portal, digital portal. It was really important during the pandemic because we were not becoming together, as you know. With the help of that tool, we had really huge turnover without becoming all together. Producer and also buyers made a special agreement with the help of that link, and they sold their articles. As you know, in Turkey, we have some problems on agriculture, such as finding market for especially producer. It is really important. They have limited market on their hand. And another topic, price fluctuation. As you know, making planning is really important. Supply and demand has to be equal. That's why with the help of that tool also, according to demand we creating producers. I mean, producers made production according to demand, and for waste, for also lost, it was really important. Supply and demand became together with the help of that portal. We were little bit far from the fluctuation of the price, and every day the quantity of the producer increasing on that portal, and turnover is starting to with the help of that portal. It is really important. And also with the help of dashboard on that portal, we have a lot of data. With the help of that data, we would like to make planning in order to have a good limit for production, and also demand has to be synchronized with production. This is really important tool. Now, for the other countries also, we would like to open that tool, not only for Turkey, but also for the other countries. We would like to create a market with the help of that portal. It is really important. As you can see from the presentation, we have huge possibilities also. UK is the same. With the help of that meeting, openly we would like to tell to that we are open for all collaboration. I am sure we can find a lot of possibilities to become together. We are really open for doing something, collaboration and a good turnover on the agricultural side. Thank you very much for listening me.
I would like to thank Minister Işıkgece for her wonderful and remarkable presentation. She has laid out important points and arguments that we should all carry with us going forward. Thank you again, Madam Minister. And if you allow me, I have a question for you, a quick question. In your presentation, you have noted that United Kingdom is not only one of the most important trade partners of Turkey in all sectors, but also is a crucial partner in terms of agricultural trade. In order to improve our already strong relations and lift them on to a new level, perhaps one of the areas that we can collaborate further could be genetics and new technologies in agriculture and livestock. In your opinion, how can we work to improve the relations between the two countries in those two areas, genetics and new technologies in agriculture? Thank you.
This is very broad and comprehensive issue. Turkey is very successful at new technologies in agriculture. Also, we have some missing parts. We have teams that carry out genetic studies. For instance, we have genetic bulls at Sultan Suyu enterprise. Both countries have experience and knowledge about this topic. We are making production about these articles. I am sure UK has the other possibilities. We should come together and we should see which type of things we can do all together. We are really open because it's really huge topic. It's really deep topic, and we can work on it. For example, now I would like to mention about also electro tractor. You know, we started to do something. First production will finish, and we will make some trial about electro tractor. It will be really important article for cost, especially on agriculture. That's why we can share our experience, for example, about that topic. The other technologic possibilities we can speak, and we are always open for making collaboration together with UK.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Minister. We will be moving over to our panel now, and the panel will be moderated by Ms. Nurdan Erbu. Nurdan Hanım is the chairwoman of DEİK Turkey UK, DEİK Turkey Canada Business Council, and a board member of the DEİK Turkey UK Business Council, and a leading business person in the biotech side of the livestock industry. So Nurdan Hanım will be leading the discussion with the experts and the speakers from the industry from now on. And Nurdan Hanım, thank you for your efforts to make this webinar a reality and bringing us all together. And the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Osman Bey. Thank you for your introduction. First of all, I would like to thank Her Excellency Ayşe Ayşin Işıkgece, DEİK President Mr. Nail Olpak, our esteemed ambassadors, His Excellency Dominick Chilcott and His Excellency Ümit Yalçın, for their insightful speeches. Since I have been working in this field for so many years, I'm happy to hear all the valuable insights about agriculture. Secondly, let me introduce myself. I'm Nurdan Erbu, as known as the founder and chairperson of Anadolu Hayvancılık. It will be a pleasure to moderate this session today. Before proceeding with our distinguished panelists, I would like to introduce my company, Anadolu Hayvancılık, briefly. My background goes back to electronic engineering, but I've been involved in the dairy industry since 1986, and I founded Anadolu Hayvancılık in 1996. The team of the company are all veterinarians, animal scientists, and agricultural engineers. We have been importing frozen bovine and ovine semen and embryos, milk replacer, and other veterinary equipments and products. Anadolu is one of the major companies in the dairy industry of Turkey. The biggest progressive dairy farms and processors are our key customers. Our sales managers, veterinarians visit the farms all over the country on a daily basis and genetically mate the herds to maximize the reproduction. Anadolu works with the genetic companies in the United Kingdom, USA, Canada, and EU countries. Now we will proceed with our distinguished panelists. Our first panelist, Mr. Brian Jones from Genus ABS, will be talking about the genetics applications and technology development in the bovine business. We put great emphasis on the technological developments in the livestock and agricultural business. Mr. Brian Jones will give us an insight on the latest developments. Brian Jones has worked for Genus ABS for 25 years, having graduated from Harper Adams Agriculture University in 1993. Over the past 5 years, Brian has worked with Genus ABS's exclusive distributor in Turkey, providing world-class genetics to the commercially focused progressive dairies. Brian says it's a pleasure to work with such dedicated customers and the team at Anadolu, ensuring that Turkey remains at the forefront of providing a sustainable production of protein for the global market. The floor is yours, Brin.
Thank you, Nurdan. Thank you very much. I will just share my presentation, if I may. Okay. Do you see the presentation? Can everybody see that? No, done? Is that?
Osman Bey, siz görüyor musunuz?
Looks like the screen is frozen. It's not going to the presentation mode, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, if you can retry. Yeah.
Oh. My screen has frozen. Sorry, my screen has completely frozen. Share screen.
Okay.
Okay. Is that full screen?
No, it's.
Yardım edebilir miyiz Aycan?
Osman Bey, bir öneri olarak bir sonraki konuşmacı ile devam edip bu konuşmacının teknik konularını çözebiliriz o sırada diye bir teklif yapıyorum.
Çok yakınız gibi. Sayın Büyükelçim, siz misiniz? Sesinizi alamadım ama.
Evet, benim
çok.
hani teklif yaptım. Hani bir sonraki
Anladım,
konuşmacı başlayabilir. O sırada bunlar fiksedilebilir. Hani o da üzerinde baskı hissetmez. Ya siz bilirsiniz.
Haklısınız. Yalnız yani bu şekilde de aslında seyredebiliriz herhalde, değil mi? Yani bir görünmekte bir sorun var mı? Bunu görebiliyoruz herhalde.
Evet.
Bunlar görünüyor ve ayrıca büyütülebiliyor. Evet.
Let's continue, Brin.
I continue. You can see the screen, can you?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the invite. This really is a great pleasure. Thank you to DEİK and the Business Council, and thank you, Nurdan, for that introduction. As Nurdan suggests, I've been travelling to Turkey for the last 5 to 6 years, having visited many times. The last time I visited was actually in August between lockdowns, and I certainly miss being able to travel at the moment. During my travels, I've always been very impressed with the technology and professionalism of the dairy farms and agricultural businesses that I visited in Turkey. And I totally support the Business Council and DEİK's objectives here of sharing ideas, knowledge, and future collaboration to both the benefit of Turkey and the UK. So with that, I'd like to present our company, Genus ABS, and introduce you to Genus ABS and in particular our sex cell technology. Genus PLC is a parent company. It's listed on the London Stock Exchange, the FTSE 250 Stock Exchange. Genus has 4 main business entities, ABS, which is the part of the business that I work for, which is the world's largest bovine genetic company. producing and distributing high genetic merit frozen bull semen for artificial insemination. We also have a business called IntelliGen, which was formed in 2016, which incorporates our sexed technology, so our female sexed bovine offering to the market. We have another business, IVB, which is the largest in vitro fertilization business in the world, which is based in Brazil, which Gina's bought 4 years ago. And we also have Promar, our international agri-food consultancy business. And they work with private businesses and government agencies, consulting on all levels of agriculture. And I know they've worked in Turkey in the past, consulting on some fruit farm businesses. So what does Genus and ABS do? So we provide differentiated animal genetics across dairy, beef and other species, driving genetic improvement faster with genomic selection, both on the female and male side, and sex cell bovine improvements never been faster, improving production, both production and health for our customers. We then efficiently distribute these genetics across the world. Obviously, it's important that these genetics get out to our customers, and we have our own distribution network, which we work through to do that. And then it's really important that we share the value that those genetics bring, with our customers, and capturing some of that value as well to reinvest in our research and development. Just to give you an indication, our sex cell investment was $50 million from inception to launch. And by providing that sort of level of research and development, we're able to reinvest in the business, creating new technologies and new opportunities for customers across the world. So our vision is very short and simple, really: pioneering animal genetic improvements to help nourish the world. And there's three key parts to that. Pioneering. So I've already mentioned our research and development. We're very it's a very important part of our business that we reinvest and produce pioneering technologies to help further the industry. Animal genetic improvement really stands at the core of what we do. So improving genetic gains, and there's been much talk today around so far around sort of sustainability. And one of the things that we're investing in currently, and we believe genetic improvement is going to play a huge role going forwards, is better feed conversion, helping the CO2 emissions produced by animals, and to help nourish the world. So, our business is about providing nutritious protein through beef, milk, and other sources to help the projected population of 9 billion people by the year 2050. So our vision's really at the core of what we do. So our business benefits from a multi-shared species research and development program. It's all based on the science of the genome. So whether that be our continued development and investment in genomic selection, or our sex semen technology, our biosystems engineering, and moving on to our what we're working on currently, which is a gene editing program. And that all is shared by our proprietary technology platform, which all leads to genetic improvement. And like I say, genetic improvement really is at the core of everything that we do to help our customers bottom line out their profit bottom line. So I'm going to talk about sex cell itself, our sexed offering in the marketplace. And I'll just run through a little bit of the history of it. So back in 2007, a project was started with the University of Chicago to develop an alternative bovine sexing method to the original technology that was launched in 2003. In 2010, the project was moved in-house to our own genus research and development facility. Several prototypes were developed, and by 2015, the technology was providing consistent, reliable results in a really commercial way. And that was followed by field trials, and the results of those field trials were then reviewed by the scientific community, scientifically peer-reviewed papers. In 2016, Intelligen, our sister company, was formed as a part of Genus PLC, and it won a federal court case proving that sexing technologies was acting as a monopolist in the US market. This led to the commercial launch globally of Intelligen sex cell product in 2017, which gave customers across the globe access to the first alternative high fertility sexed product. In September 2020, we reached 10 million commercially produced units globally. And as of today, we have produced 12 million units. So Intelligen employs 300 people in 4 continents across the globe, and it has 3 major strategies for the market. So the first strategy is to provide ABS global with a sexed product, and they currently have 4 labs across the globe producing that sex product. The second point is the second strategic partnership is to benefit customers and the AI industry through third-party collaboration, giving a really customizable product. So we work with several third-party businesses across the globe in helping the whole AI industry provide that to that market. And our third strategy is India. So India is so large, it has its own strategy. There's a potential for 100 million inseminations in India alone by 2030. And part of that is that India government provides a subsidy to create female cows, as there are 50 million male animals roaming the streets in India, which is a risk to human health and safety, and causes a lot of damage. So there's an incentive there to produce females only. So where are our key markets for sex cell? So this map shows the top 15 countries with potential AI units, and you can see the huge potential of India there, which is why we have a separate strategy for India. But also Turkey is right up there at number 6 with 6 million potential units. So it's a really big market, and ABS operates in all these markets in either direct businesses or using our very esteemed distributor network, of which Anadolu is one in Turkey. So the projected sex cell market is 25 million units by 2025, and that is 12% of the total market, but it represents 30% of the market value. So we can see why it's a really important part of the strategy going forward. So this slide shows intelligent partners around the world, accounting for 5 million units produced in 2020, and with a 30% market share, we're expecting to sell 6 million units in 2021. So companies such as RBW in Germany, Gino in Norway, and Intermizu in Italy are some of our partners, as well as our own ABS labs producing sex product. And here's just a few pictures of labs around the world, showing one of our major labs in the USA in Windsor. So that lab there is producing between 3 and 4 million units per year. We have our lab in Ruthin in North Wales, along with our European stud, which produces around about 500,000 units per year at the moment. And you can see some of our other partners as well there in India and Norway. And the Brazil lab is actually an Intelligen-owned lab as well. So we've produced 12 million units since 2017, so in 3.5 years since launch. And we are forever improving our processes and learning the markets as we go. So our machines are getting more and more efficient. So just as an example, it took us 1 year to produce 1 million units. In the next 9 months, we produce 3 million units, with projections of 6 million units per year in 2021. So just wanted to touch on some customer experience and some product performance. So here's some testimonials gathered from some customers we have in the UK and the USA. And the predominant differentiation between us and other technology in terms of production is that Sexcel technology was specifically designed to be gentle on the female cell. So there are no electric fields, no shear forces on those very important female cells. In fact, they're actually completely untouched. Our technology actually deactivates the male cells rather than trying to separate them from the female cells. And the result of that is that we get a better fertility on farm with really good relative conception rates. And here's some of the latest data results collected. And this data is collected via our real world data platform. That consists of over 2 million data collection points. So we work with some really large farms across the globe. And 60% of the data is collected on other technology, 40% of the data is collected on Sexcel. So it's a nice even balance between the two. And this clearly shows up from the real world results and experience for customers, an increase in conception rates, on average 3% on heifers and 3.3% on cows, really driving production and profitability. And as customers breed female replacements from their top animals, the option then exists to breed the lower end genetics of the dairy herd to beef. And this creates a second income for our customers. So driving efficiency and profit through both quicker genomic improvement, but also a nice cash turnover, a quicker cash turnover through the beef. So we know that Sexcel's delivered really great results for customers, and we've been thrilled with sales and customer feedback from our Turkish market through our ABS distributor, Anadolu. We also want to be really clear that we're seeking further opportunities in Turkey, and to ensure that as many customers as possible can benefit from this technology. And this slide just describes a couple of the business models that we're using across the world. So the first one is our service provider model. In this instance, Intelligen owns the instruments and sets them up in country in a production site or a lab created by the third party. Intelligen employs the people and runs the instruments. The local stud genetics are used in the machine. This is normally a 5-year contract, and Intelligen gets paid for each straw that is produced. The second model is a technology transfer model. So this is where a third party company purchases the machine and builds the lab. Intelligen train their employees to run the lab. The company pays Intelligen a technology access fee and a service fee because it's really important those machines are running as effectively and efficiently as possible. And the company pays a royalty on each straw produced. So they're the business models that we have. And obviously, like I say, we're really interested in working with third parties across the globe, but particularly in Turkey, because we saw from earlier on the huge market potential in Turkey. And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. Thank you to all the esteemed guests, and thank you in particular to Nurdan. And I'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Breen. Now our second guest from the United Kingdom, Dr. Sam Host, qualified from the University College of North Wales with a degree in agriculture, which stimulated an interest in animal genetics. This led to an Master of Science in Animal Breeding at Edinburgh University, followed by a PhD at Reading University on poultry genetics. Dr. Sam Host joins us today in his capacity as the Animal Science Sector Specialist for the United Kingdom government's Agri-Trade organization within DEİK, which is the International Trade Ministry. He has extensive experience in animal science sector, both technically and commercially. He has links to academia, industry, and the government, which is key to develop R&D, innovation, and business opportunities within the sector. Dr. Host will be talking about the recent developments and where the United Kingdom agrotechnology and livestock business headed in the future. Dr. Host, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nurdan. Let's just, can you see my presentation?
Yes, yes, we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that very kind introduction, Nurdan. Thank you very much, Bryn. That was a superb introduction to what ABS do. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Deputy Minister of Agriculture, Ambassador of Turkey to London, Mr. Osman Okyay, Mr. Niall Olpak, and Mr. Dominick Chilcott. Thank you very much for the invitation to speak today. It's a great pleasure, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the conference and to questions later. I'm pleased to be speaking to people in Turkey again. I was there last February in the tech show that was held in Turkey between the UK and Turkey, and was a thoroughly enjoyable and useful meeting. So I'm going to give more of an overview of the situation in the UK in terms of trade opportunities. I'm going to cover animal science, precision livestock farming, and provide some brief examples of some of the companies and what they're doing in the UK. It's obviously an introduction to myself and to the Agri-Tech team within the UK. So this is an overview of the UK livestock sector. And we're obviously a smaller country than Turkey, and our numbers are somewhere about half of the numbers in terms of livestock that you have. And the diagram over on the right shows, I suppose, the split that we have in the UK and where things are located. So we're on the western seaboard of Europe, and so we have a fairly high rainfall. And so on the western side of the country is predominantly grazing for grass, and that is where beef and dairy and sheep production is at its highest density. And as you go to the east, the lighter yellow colour on that diagram is where the cereals, so wheat and barley, are predominantly grown, and the monogastric species, pigs and poultry, are predominantly housed. We have not as large a number in terms of animals compared to Turkey, but down at the bottom of that list in terms of animals, we have a significant pet population, and something like 40% of households in the UK, some 12 million households, have pets. and it's a significant industry in the UK and generates sales of some £6 billion. The feed sector in the UK is significant. It's one of the largest in the UK. There's some £5,500 million worth of sales across those species that I've been talking about, and there is something like 300 manufacturers in the UK. But having said that, there are relatively few compound manufacturers that cover the whole of the UK, and in that figure of 300 manufacturers, there are quite a lot of additive feed manufacturers who sell their product on a global basis, and I'll mention one of those later on. So the UK has a significantly strong commercial but also academic expertise in the animal breeding sector, and Bryn has talked about one of the companies in that. So on the dairy side, but also across multiple breeds in terms of the dairy sector. So there are breed societies that undertake genetic improvement in breeds like Aberdeen Angus, Hereford, etc. There is also a significant ovine sheep sector in the UK that basically operates on a stratified basis, with animals from the hill sector moving down to the upland sector, moving down to the lowland sector. And so those breed organisations again have a sophisticated breeding program in place in terms of using genetics, genomics, using CT scanning, etc. So there's some very professional breed societies on the sheep side. There are a number of significant pig breeding companies, and as was mentioned by Mr. Dominick Chilcott, Aviagen is a significant global player on the poultry meat side that is based out of Edinburgh. So animal livestock farming, animal livestock industry comprises a number of different sectors: animal health, nutrition, etc. But there are also some fairly large players in terms of house building for monogastrics. There's the breeding sector that I've talked about, but we also have this academic sector, which is particularly strong in the UK in terms of research, and I'll move on to that. So there's a broad range of expertise in animal science and veterinary science across the UK. 4 of the top global veterinary universities are based in the UK, but we also have Europe's largest concentration of animal scientists in the Edinburgh area, with the Roslin Institute and the Vet School, and Roslin is obviously famous for the production of Dolly the sheep. But there are other groups that have considerable expertise in other domains other than genetics. I suppose in Northern Ireland there's significant dairy, grazing, extensive grazing expertise. In Nottingham, again, there's considerable expertise on the nutrition side of intensively housed dairy, etc. So there's a broad range of capabilities and expertise available across the UK. And after the Agri-Tech strategy back in 2013, one of the things that was put in place was how to make it easier for companies to access all of that university capability. So we established 4 Agri-Tech centres in the UK that are membership organisations. So companies in the UK, but also overseas, can actually join those organisations. And that will, you'll be meeting other people who are interested in doing research and technology development, and you will also be, they're there to help you write bids and get funding from Innovate UK as one of the funding partners. And I should say at the moment you actually have to be based in the UK, although increasingly the UK government is looking at bilateral funding mechanisms so that people in different countries can be working with partners in the UK. So that the centres that have been established cover very briefly, agrimetrics is to do with big data, CHAP is to do with crop health and protection, CL is the Centre for Innovation and Excellence in Livestock, and Agri-Epi is about precision livestock. If you want to, all of these, their names, you'll find them on the internet and things, or I can provide you links to them afterwards. Really good places to look about what is going on, who's interested in doing R&D and collaborating in the UK, from both from a commercial aspect but also from an academic aspect. So I'm going to move on to just a little bit about precision livestock farming, and then I shall show some example companies that are based in the UK. And on the digital side of things, we're all moving in this direction in terms of what has been termed Agriculture 4, which is moving towards a system of systems. And I suppose we're moving from just having farming animals on a farm to smart farming in terms of recording something on a computer, to having that connected through mobile devices and sensors to computers, to having a farm system where we're bringing in all of the information that's gathered on a farm, be it health, genetics and feed information and production information, and pulling that all together in terms of managing what's going on. So there are a few companies that are operating in that absolutely integrated space on a farm, and some of those are really exciting developments. What we haven't really got to globally, I don't think, is bringing that all together. There are some people who are doing parts of this, but bringing this into what is called a system of systems, where we've got the farm system here, but that links up with weather information, market information, information from buildings in terms of the flow through the buildings, the temperature of the building, the gases that are being produced like ammonia and things, and linking that up with financial information. So this is the goal in terms of what Agriculture 4 is, and it's similar to the concept of Industry 4.0. So it's quite interesting because in livestock we can actually record an enormous amount of information, and I think we sometimes see that the crop side is well ahead of perhaps the livestock side, but in fact we can record an enormous amount on livestock. What has not generally happened is pulling that all together. So we can record individual identification if we have animals like cows or beef cattle or sheep, or we might be recording things on a population basis or a house basis, like over on the right hand side there with broiler chickens. But then we can take this genomic and genetic data that Bryn has talked about, and that also may be part of the identification. We can record the weight automatically as the animals move over a weigh platform. We can score them in terms of how fat, how thin they are, how muscular. We can record or make an estimate of how much they're eating. And like I say, going through this list here, if I had more time, I would go into each of the areas in more detail. And in each of these areas, there are companies that do have a digital solution that is a marketable product that's out there that can be integrated in terms of use on a farm. There is a company, Zelp, that is measuring and also mitigating the methane that comes from the belching from the cows. We can have a bolus that goes into one of the stomachs of the cow, and we can record the heart rate, the body temperature, and the rumen pH to be able to assess what the biochemical metabolic status of the animal is. We can record the location in terms of how well where the animal is on the farm and how well it's walking, and also how much time it is lying down or standing, and that gives you some indication in terms of what the rumination process is in the cow and how well the cow is performing. But we can also measure milk quality, and we can also measure the fertility of the cow from an inline measurement of progesterone in the milk. So there's lots we can record on individual animals, and again using cameras and sound sensors we can record lots in housed poultry, and that can be linked up with information in terms of the outside temperature, the temperature in the building, the water usage, the airflows and things, to be managing those in a much more sophisticated way than just human observation. And then all of this needs to be linked with what I put down here as metadata, but weather information, location information, and I suppose it would be the same in Turkey, but there's a big difference where the animals are, if they're outside, if they're in the north of Scotland compared to the south of England, that temperature and climate that an animal is experiencing will be very different. What I'm not going to talk about particularly today, but I will just emphasize, and all of this is really to be, there's two things that from all of this information. One of it is for farmers, to enable farmers to be making better decisions. It has to make a difference at farm level, otherwise it's a bit of a waste of time. And secondly, where we want to really be able to get to is to be able to predict what performance is going forward. So there's an immediate thing in terms of management, but then how far ahead can we predict? And quite a lot of that relies really on this metadata in terms of weather information. And I moved a bit quickly there, but so this is all about helping farmers make decisions better. And going back to a comment, it is also about a range of things to do with sustainability, heading towards net zero, all of those sort of things that are exceedingly important as we go forward. So to reiterate what Bryn has said, sex semen in terms of a technology is exceedingly important, and I suppose in recent years, and these are figures from the UK in terms of the proportion or percentage of sex semen in the UK market, over half of the inseminations now are using sex semen, and contrary to some sort of beliefs, farmers will adopt technologies very, very rapidly if the value is very clear to them. And I think sex semen is a wonderful example where the uptake is significant, and you know, farmers will adopt those sort of technologies. So what I'm going to go through now is just some examples of a quite broad range, I suppose, in terms of companies that are operating in the UK, but within the livestock sector, just to give you a flavour of some of the companies. So this particular company, Deep Branch Technology, is very much involved in alternative proteins, and the alternative protein sector in the UK is small but of significant interest. So that in
Doctors, I'm sorry. Madam Minister will have to leave for another meeting. Please apologize for that, but we will continue.
Thank you.
Already left. I'm sorry interrupting.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay, please.
Should I carry on there, Dan? Or yeah.
Please.
So Deep Branch.
Sorry, Nurdan Hanım. I should leave for another meeting together with Minister.
Söyledim efendim.
Sorry for that, but we are really open to make a Zoom meeting. I mean, we should find some heads like animal, like cattle, like sheep, or the other agricultural things. I mean, we should find some heads. According to that heads, we can make a Zoom meetings. I mean, I can have some technical guys together with me, my friends, my colleagues, and we can open some heads. According to that heads, we can make some deep meeting for collaboration. We are really open to make collaboration together with you. Sorry for leaving the meeting now. Thank you very much for inviting us, and we should continue for some heads, okay?
Çok teşekkür ederiz Sayın Bakanım.
Çok teşekkür ederiz Sayın Bakanım. Sağ olun.
Rica ederim. Have a nice day. See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Host, please continue.
Thank you very much. No problem whatsoever. Deep Branch Technology is a company that is taking the CO2 from one of the UK's largest power stations, Drax, and converting that through an electrolysis process and fermentation process to produce protein for the aquaculture sector and poultry in the UK. So quite an innovative approach in terms of this protein, alternative protein area that we're interested in, and I suppose other areas that I'm not going to talk about, but algae production is of significant interest, and we have companies working in that. And also the insect sector, again, is a small but significantly growing sector in the UK. Glass Data is another example. So over on the right hand side, that's how you spell the company name. It's a company that is integrating multiple sensors together on farms through using LoRaWAN networks, so low energy networks, and connecting not only weather data but data for water, recording feed bins in terms of how full they are, and over on the right hand side, this black cylinder is a rumen bolus. So connecting all of this data together and presenting it in a very farmer friendly means on a mobile and on a computer. iLivestock is another example from Scotland that is integrating whey platform data, but also lots of other farm information data into a mobile management system for farmers that is operating on a global basis and has over 5,000 farmers operating globally using their software to record and manage what is happening. And again, going back to this protein side, in terms of the reliance on soya predominantly from South America, recently AB Agri in a new company called Yellow has a new mechanism in terms of processing oilseed rape, which is grown in the UK, and oilseed rape is also known as canola, grown in the UK, and using that to feed dairy cattle. And that is the trial results from the UK and on a global basis are showing that the process technology that is used to process the oilseed rape, they're getting better results than with soya meal. So that again may answer part of the European issue in terms of access to suitable proteins for animal feed. So just a brief summary. Animal genetics is clearly a very significant strength, both commercially and academically in the UK. There are a large number and growing number of companies operating in this digital space in terms of integrating information together. And the alternative protein sector, be it insects, be it industrial process, or be it algae, is an increasing sector in terms of responding to the needs to be producing proteins nearer to where we are. So that's really my last slide. Thank you very much. Look forward to questions later on. Thank you very much for the invite again, and look forward to speaking to you later.
Thank you very much, Dr. Host. Thank you for this interesting presentation. As a member of Turkish agriculture and livestock business community, I find it quite interesting for the future of our business. Then we move on to Turkish agriculture and livestock business environment and successful examples of latest developments. Mrs. Yasemin Gürsolmaz, board member of Gürmen Group, which is active in retail, energy, agriculture, livestock management, and dairy farming. She is responsible for strategic development. Yasemin Gürsolmaz qualified from the University of London with a degree in business and Master of Science at Wartburg University of London. Yasemin is the board member of DEİK, Turkey and United Kingdom Business Council. She carries out studies to participate women in workforce and enhancing the leadership, putting emphasis for youth and educational affairs. Also applying good agricultural practices, using sustainable methods for production and zero waste with renewable energy sources within rural areas to improve the regions are key roles that Mrs. Gürsolmaz involved in. Yasemin Gürsolmaz will be talking about how Gürmen Group tackles the question of adequate food supply by technological applications under their company Gökkale. This will be quite an interesting example of dealing with sustainable agriculture and livestock management. Mrs. Yasemin Gürsolmaz, I'll give the floor to you.
Thank you very much, Nurdan Hanım. Your Excellencies, Honourable Chairman, thank you for having me. And dear participants, thank you for listening. As a member of the Turkey, United Kingdom, British Council, we strive to be a bridge between the two countries, and we try to be a role model by sharing our business experiences. So if you bear with me, I'd like to show you what we do and how we participate in this sector. So what we believe is sustainable agriculture and sustainable livestock result in a sustainable world. As everybody has mentioned before, the increase in world population, the increase in income and growth, and dietary changes have a direct impact on the food supply chain, therefore biodiversity, deforestation, and therefore climate change. Agricultural practices, and therefore its political decisions, are now directly impacted with exports figures, employment figures, increased consumer behaviour, and the need of raw materials and cross-sectional information and other socio-economic factors. So when forming our company in 2005 in Devrekhane, in Kastamonu, where we come from, we started by thinking of giving back to our local community. We started with 300 breeding cattle coming from the USA with 600 acres of land. We realized the importance for feedstock by growing crop. So dairy was the important part of the business, but the livestock for the feed for this livestock was as important. So during the second phase of investments, we increased our herd by another 720 heads and increased the cultivated and irrigated agricultural land. With a further capacity of 2,000 animals, we continue our activities on 270 acres of land, which is leased, 840 acres, which is contracted from local community farmers, and another 150 acres of our land that we own ourselves. So we do a community collaboration. And of this, 72% of our coarse feed is harvested locally. One of the largest costs, obviously, is feedstock, and bringing it in from another area adds to the carbon footprint. So producing this locally adds to the local community and the local economy. What we do is the land is irrigated and harvested using modern technology. We grow the best crops to suit the land and climate, which is harsh during the winter with -20 Celsius. We have allocated 10 acres of land to R&D to find the best crop for the best feedstock, which is an important problem because when we are talking about farming, machinery, genetics, and medical are all of foreign exchange, but we sell our raw milk in the Turkish lira. So unfortunately, the balance is not as equal as maybe it is in the UK. What is very important is that we share our local knowledge with the local farmers, and we have tried to have the best yield possible. Due to all these best practices and our new technology, we have been a disease-free farm since 2012, according to European standards. In 2016, we increased the herd numbers by 500 for cemental heifers. Now, as we said, sustainability was very important, and we work with the genus and Nurdan Hanım on the sexing our cows. And listening to Dr. Host's presentation, we have to monitor all of this for the dairy farming. And going further, to complete the zero waste, we invested in a biogas facility which produces 250 kilowatts of energy per hour, which is 12% of Yerikani's electrical supply. The manure which is collected is decomposed, turned into energy. The remains in liquid is used as fertilizer on the land, and the dry matter is turned into organic pellets and compost as fertilizer. So it is sold, and it is another income as well. So we are producing 2,200 litres of raw milk, and we have a cooling facility of 30,000 litres. We are looking to increase our production further. One of the most important elements of dairy farming is calf and herd management. And as we now do, is technology and monitoring the health of the herd is vital. Animal tracking devices, which are widely used in the industry, predominantly for milk efficiency, is now being constantly used to monitor every data from each animal. Thanks to historical data on individual cows, together with decision-making graphics, we monitor lactation curves, fat, protein content. We also monitor the likes of body score development, somatic cell counts, and other cow-related parameters such as activity, feeding, breeding, resulting in a healthy herd and better management decisions. Technology is so simplified, it comes down as a text message down to the herd worker. What we believe is this: we use this technology in industrial farms, but we need to bring this down to the small local farmer. Agricultural feedstock for the herd is another important factor. The main issues affecting the sustainable agricultural part of our country are irrigation, erosion, urbanization, industrialization, tourism, environmental pollution, and use of excessive pesticides and fertilizers. Turkey requires improvements of pastures and meadows as a foundation of sustainable agricultural approaches. For rural areas to continue their activities in farming, small family businesses must be educated and updated with technology that comes down to a simple text to their phone. The growth of this technology in these areas will have a dramatic output in efficiency. I know Tülin Hanım will talk about this later in our presentation, and she does very important things for the local community, which she will explain further. In 2013, we established an academy in training local businesses. So the technology and the know-how is passed down. After many trainings and many informative meetings, we approximately have 1,100 acres of irrigated land contracted that serve the local community. Using professional irrigation and strategic crop decisions, we have undertaken the risk of being a pioneer in terms of providing education and income to the farmers of the region, as well as being able to produce their own roughage needs through effective production methods. We implement good agricultural practices which are controlled and certified. We need to re-establish the natural balance in the ecosystem, starting from agricultural policy at every stage from production to consumption. The main aim is to have an effective farming strategy from feedstock to consumption, from farm to fork, as His Excellency said, without using excessive chemical, controlling disease and pests, and including the smaller farmer, consolidating land, increasing soil fertility, and having effective and valuable product. At Gökkale, we aim to be a pioneer in this area, and we work together with local businesses. So we start from the harvest, improve the comfort of the animals. We are zero waste free with our biogas, and we give back to the land with the fertilizer, and we join forces from the local community. There is still yet to be done, but I think we took a small step in the industry. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Yasemin Hanım. such an interesting presentation that showed us a very good example of technology application in agribusiness. Finally, we will end our panel with a striking example of successful Turkish entrepreneur. Today's last presentation will be from Ms. Tülin Akın, the founding partner of Tabit, will be enlightening us on a smart agriculture applications. Tülin Akın graduated from Anadolu University in Business and completed her micro MBA at Bosphorus University. She has been awarded all her life by the universities, international associations in relation to her entrepreneurship. She has indeed quite a long list of awards. Ms. Akın's presentation will give us an insight on how technology and smart agriculture can enhance efficiency while increasing the quality of life in the rural areas. By doing so, she will show us a different aspect of smart technology applications, which is very significant to the development of rural life and preparing the businesses to the next step in a sector where technology is evolving at a considerably fast pace. Ms. Akın achieved to build one of the first smart villages in Aydın province by the sponsorship of Vodafone. She was awarded as the Best Social Entrepreneur of the World 2018 at World Economic Forum Davos Summit, as well as Goalkeepers 2018 by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Tülin Hanım, buyurun lütfen, sizi dinliyoruz. Tülin Hanım.
I think we lost her. I'm sure she's gonna try to reconnect.
Nurdan Hanım, I'm trying to call her in a minute.
She's back.
Mikrofonunuz kapalı Tülin Hanım.
Çok özür diliyorum. Sunum yapacağım bilgisayar birden kapandı. Başka bir bilgisayardan bağlandım. Tam da sıra bana gelince kapanması biraz şey oldu ama stresli. Kusura bakmayın, hemen sunumu açıyorum. Nurdan Hanım nasıl bir kısmını dinleyemedim. Kusura bakmayın, hemen bağlanacağım. Sunumu görebiliyor musunuz?
Görüyoruz.
Tamam, başka bir bilgisayara geçtim. Hemen tekrar kusura bakmayın. Tabit, hemen başlayayım ben vakit kaybetmeden. Tabit, küçük aile çiftçilerini teknoloji ve bilgiyle güçlendirerek kırsal alanda kırsal alanı geleceğe hazırlayan bir sosyal girişim. Tabii akıllı tarım teknolojileri.
Çok affedersiniz, bir duyuru yapmamı istediler. Çok affedersiniz.
Tabii ki.
To listen in English, you can click the English channel, please. Tamam. For our...
Devam ediyorum.
Yes, lütfen.
Devam edeyim mi Nurdan Hanım?
Lütfen, lütfen Tülin Hanım.
Evet. Tabii kırsal alanda çiftçileri güçlendiren, teknolojiyle ve bilgiyle güçlendiren çalışmalar yapıyor. Bu çalışmaların odağında küçük aile çiftçilerinin bilgi, teknoloji ve teknolojiyi kullanımıyla ilgili sosyal takiplerini de gerçekleştiriyor. Dünyadaki iklim krizinden dolayı çiftçilerin ürünlerini eskisi gibi yetiştirememesi, bilgiye uzak yerlerde olması ve teknolojiye erişememesinden kaynaklanıyor. Yaptığımız çalışmaların odağı bununla ilgili. Eğitim ve yayınlar çıkarıyoruz, Ar-Ge çalışmaları yapıyoruz ve çiftçinin de bilgilerini harmanlayarak, kadim bilgilerini alarak yeni nesil bir öğrenme çalışması yapıyoruz. Bu yaptığımız çalışmaların odağında dediğim gibi çiftçiler var. Çiftçiler, hangi çiftçiler? 570 milyon dünyada çiftçi var. Bu çiftçilerin %90'ı kendi üretim kararını kendisi alan çiftçiler ve bu çiftçiler dünya gıda üretiminin %80 kadarını karşılıyorlar. Geri kalanı endüstriyel üretim. Biz bunun için hangi çalışmaları yaptık? 2004 yılında tarımsalpazarlama.com'la Türkiye'nin ilk tarımsal e-ticaret platformunu yani alıcıyla satıcıyı, tarımsal anlamda alıcıyla satıcıyı bir araya getiren platformunu yaptık. Ancak 2004 yılının çok erken bir dönemde olduğunu fark ettik. Çiftçinin okuma yazma oranı, bilgisayar kullanımı ve internetin erişimiyle ilgili. Bunun arkasından hemen çiftçilere SMS'le bilgi gönderen bir sistem kurduk. Çiftçi kulübü oluşturduk ve bu sistem Türkiye'de 1,5 milyon kadar çiftçiye hizmet verdi ve bunun başka ülkelere iş modeli transferlerini yaptık. Çiftçi için 2006 yılında Türkiye'nin ilk kredi kartı sistemini bir bankayla modelleyerek hasatta bir yıl boyunca ürettiği ürünün hasatta öde sistemiyle mikro krediye ulaşmasını sağlayacak bir organizasyon yaptık ve bunun için köy köy dolaşan, hangi teknolojiyi nerede nasıl kullanacağı, bunun ne tür bir getirisi olduğuna dair köy köy dolaşan organizasyonlarda bir köye birkaç defa, Türkiye'de 35.000 köy var bu arada, bunlardan 12.000 tanesine yıllar boyunca 17 yıllık bir şirketiz, ulaştık. Ve burada gördük ki bazı köylerde gelişim çok hızlı olurken bazılarında olmuyor. Çok hızlı gelişen köylere bakarak da nasıl olduğunu inceledik. Teknolojiyi bir çiftçinin risk alarak kullanmaya başladığını, diğerlerinin de ona bakarak sonuçlarını görerek uyguladığını gördük ve Akıllı Köy projesini planladık. Akıllı Köy'de 2015 yılında Türkiye'de Aydın'da kuruldu ve çiftçi için uygulamalar ve yazılımlar geliştirmeye devam ettik. 1,5 milyon çiftçi Türkiye'de ki bu çalışma başka ülkelerde de, özellikle Afrika ülkelerine de yayıldı ve orada da 4,5 milyon kadar çiftçiye ulaştı. Neler yaptık? Başka işte yüz yüze eğitimler gerçekleştirdik ve uygulama alanında da çiftçinin teknolojiye erişmesine, dokunmasını sağladık. Bu teknoloji nasıl, yani bunu nasıl gerçekleştiriyoruz? Vodafone desteğiyle kurulmuş bir akıllı köyde gerçekleştiriyoruz. Ben şu anda oradayım. Burada teknoloji geliştirme çalışmaları, çiftçi karar destek sistemini sağlayan yazılımlar ve uygulama alanları var. 200 kişilik bir eğitim salonumuz var ve 23 çeşit ürün üreten ama bu ürünleri farklı yöntemlerle üretilmesini gösteren bahçe düzenleri var, deneme alanları var. Bunları çiftçilere ücretsiz bir şekilde sunuyoruz. Bu teknolojiler nasıl teknolojiler? Mesela işte 300 dönüm üzerine kurulu burası. Bu gördüğünüz mera. Tabii ki teknoloji dünyanın her yerinde var. Tarımsal teknolojiler de öyle. Ancak bu teknolojileri büyük şirketler kullanıyor. küçük aile çiftçileri erişemiyor. Hem kullanım açısından hem fiyat açısından, uygulama açısından, bilgi açısından erişilmesi zor görülüyor. Yapmakta olduğumuz bu çalışmayla bir köyü bir çiftlik olarak görerek ve tüm çiftçilerin katılımcı olabileceği bir ortamda gerçekleştirdik ve diğer köylere, hatta dünyanın başka ülkelerinde de yaygınlaşmaya başladı proje. Örnek olmak istedik. Burada Mera'da bir akıllı kapı sistemi var ve hayvanların ayaklarında podometreler var. Bir önceki sunumlarda da zaten ayrıntılarıyla anlatıldı bu sistemin nasıl işlediğini, ama bunu küçük çiftçi nasıl kullanır üzerinde çalıştık daha çok. Hayvanda bir sorun çıktığında, kızgınlığa eriştiğinde veya hastalık olduğunda çiftçinin cebine bilgilendirme mesajı giderek ve veteriner hekime de bilgi vererek müdahale etmesini sağlıyoruz. Mera'ya kurulmuş olmuş sensörlü aparatlarla onların refahını sağlayarak süt verimini arttırıyoruz ve toplu sağım sistemine, yani bir köyün hayvanlarının tek bir merkezde toplanarak sağımıyla hangi hayvandan ne kadar süt çıkmışsa o hayvanın o hayvanın besleyicisine de bilgi gönderiyoruz. Tabii akıllı kovan sistemi, arı takibi sistemi, kanatlı hayvancılıkta işte dijital yaprak, bahçenin verilerini gönderen, aslında bunlar tabii ki yine kullanılan sistemler, bizim de ürettiklerimiz var. Aslında biz bu çalışmaları, var olan çalışmaları çiftçinin anlayabileceği bir arayüze çeviriyoruz. Ve hani grafiksel veriler yerine karar verebileceği, işte seranın kapısını açıp havalandırması gerektiğine dair sonuç verileri gönderiyoruz. Dijital tuzaklar, işte feromon tuzaklar, erken uyarı sistemleri gibi sistemleri bu arazi üzerine kurulu ve çiftçiler bunları deneyimliyorlar. En basit serada bile teknoloji kullanıp kendi kurabileceği en basit serada bile teknoloji kullanabileceğine dair bir izlenime sahip oluyorlar ve teknolojiye erişmeyi istiyorlar, kullanmayı istetiyoruz burada. Tabii ki sadece teknoloji kullanmak değil, ürünün ürettikten sonra ne yapacağı, nasıl pazarlanacağı, ki işte Türkiye'nin ilk dijital pazarını kurduğumuz için tarımsalpazarlama.com, onun uygulaması, dijital ortamlar nasıl kullanılır ve ürünü satamazsa nasıl değerlendirilir şeklinde de bilgiler veriyoruz. Bu da bir güneş enerji sistemiyle bu gördüğünüz ürün karpuz kurusu. Ürünü satamadığında nasıl değerlendirir ve daha katma değerli olarak nasıl satabilir, onları da yönlendiriyoruz. Bir de çok büyük bir sorun var. Sadece Türkiye'de değil, dünyanın her yerinde üretim yapan çiftçiler ne yazık ki ilaçlama motorlarını yıkadıkları yeri çok fazla iyi kullanmıyorlar ve ilaç atıklarını doğaya bırakıyorlar. Dereler, balıklar etkileniyor, toprak etkileniyor. Her köye bir ilaç atık sistemi planladık. Bu köyde de bunu kullanıyoruz ve başka köylere de örnek olacak bir sistem. Buradaki 200 kişilik eğitim salonunda ilk önce dünyada teknoloji nereye gider, çiftçinin konumu nedir, değişmezse, teknoloji kullanmazsa, üretimini geliştirmezse gelecekte neler olacak? Şehirlere gittiklerinde neler gerçekleşebilir? Kaldıklarında kendilerini ekonomik olarak nasıl güçlendirebilirler? Çiftçiliği nasıl efektif yapabilirler? Ve teknolojinin araçlarından nasıl kullanırlar? Bu konuda bilgiler verdikten sonra arazide de kendi dokunduğu, evet ben bunu kullanabilirim dediği eğitimler gerçekleştiriyoruz. Ve üniversite öğrencilerinde Ziraat Fakültesi'nde okuyanlarla teknolojide okuyanları bir araya getirerek workshoplar düzenliyoruz. Tarımın geleceğini birlikte nasıl planlarız? Üniversite öğrencileriyle de bunları gerçekleştiriyoruz. Çocuklara da bitki tanıma ve gelecekte çiftçi olsaydın nasıl olurdu? Çünkü çiftçiliğin bir meslek olarak kariyer hedefi olarak görünmediği, biraz karizmasının da düzeltilmesi gerektiğini düşünüyoruz. Bu nedenle de gelecekteki planlarımızda çiftçi çocuklarına ve geleceğin çiftçilerinin, girişimci çiftçiler, teknolojiyi eğitilen ve en üst düzeyde donanımlı çiftçiler olmasıyla ilgili bir lise çalışmamız var. Bu akıllı köyde de çocuklara da bu konuda eğitimler ve toplantılar, eğlenceler, etkinlikler düzenliyoruz. Ve kadınlara da dijital okuryazarlık eğitimleri ve okuma yazmadan da başlıyor bazı eğitimlerimiz. Onların istedikleri eğitimleri. Kırsal yaşamda aslında bu sadece teknolojiyle güçlenme, tarımda güçlenme, kırsal yaşamı bir ayağı, bütün köyün bir sistem üzerinde sosyalleşip güçlenmesi, köyün daha cazip ve yaşanılabilir bir hale gelmesi için bütün araçların kullanılmasıyla da ilgili. Bu akıllı köy modelimizde bunu da içine koyuyoruz. Mesela işte tarlada çalışırken güneşten ve kendini yani mesela çapalarken eğildiği için bedensel olarak, fiziksel olarak hasta olabilecekken bunu yani bundan kaynaklandığını, bunun için mesela spor yapması gerektiğini ki ben bunu hep örnek verdiğimde hani o kadar çalışıyor kadın nasıl spor yapsın derler. Çünkü tarımda, teknolojide kadın ve erkeğin eşit katılımlı olduğu aslında tek sektör tarım. Kadınla erkeğin eşit olarak çalıştığı, iş gücünü verdiği sektör tarım. Bu nedenle kadının teknolojiyi ve sosyal araçları kullanmasıyla ilgili ayrı projeler yapıyoruz ki Türkiye'de kadının teknolojiye adaptasyonu kırsal alanda birazcık daha hızlı gerçekleşiyor. Çünkü asıl işi yapan onlar oldukları için kolay, yani bir süt sağımın ne kadar işini kolaylaştıracağını ve nasıl işini planlayacağını birazcık daha hızlı algılıyor diyebilirim. Uygulamalar da çeşitli uygulamalar geliştirdik. Bu Türkiye'de örneğin işte 2013'ten beri hal ve borsa fiyatlarının datası, fiyat değişimleri, veteriner hekimi ve ziraat mühendisine online soru sorarak hibe destek günleri, bütün bunları hem SMS'le hem de uygulamalardan zirai hava durumu, o hava durumunda kendi ürününe ne yapacağına dair bilgileri gönderiyoruz ve yayınlıyoruz. Nerelere, yani hangi ülkelerde bu çalışmaları yapıyoruz? Tabii ki biz Türkiye'deyiz ve başka ülkelerde burayı görmek için, yani Akıllıköy'ü görmek için de ziyaret alıyoruz. Hangi ülkelerde çalışıyoruz? İşbirliği yaptığımız ülkeler İspanya, Ürdün, Mısır, Fransa. İş modeli transfer ettiğimiz bu bilgilendirme sistemini, SMS'le ve uygulamayla bilgilendirme sistemini transfer ettiğimiz Mısır, Kenya, Tanzanya, Gana, Yeni Zelanda ve Hindistan var. Cezayir ve Özbekistan'da da teknolojiye dayalı kırsal kalkınma üzerinde planlama yapıyoruz. Ve bu planlamalarla da çiftçinin, hedef kitlemiz olan işte küçük aile çiftçisinin güçlenerek köyünde mutlu bir şekilde ve ekonomik olarak güçlenmiş bir şekilde kalmasını sağlayacak çalışmalar yapıyoruz. Bütün bu çalışmalar bir sosyal girişim sistemi üzerinde yapıldığı için çiftçiler bütün bunlardan ücretsiz faydalanıyorlar ama biz bütün bu sistemi sürdürülebilir kılmak ve ayakta durmak için bazı çalışmalarımızı danışmanlık olarak yapıyoruz. Devletlere, yerel yönetimlere bazı bilgileri, daha spesifik bilgileri verebiliyoruz. Ve planlamaları da aynı şekilde. Ancak çiftçiler bu yapıdan hep ücretsiz faydalanıyor. Örneğin çiftçi olmak istiyorum diyen, çiftçi olmayan kişilere eğitimler düzenliyoruz ve uygulamalarımız var, sistemi sürdürecek uygulamalarımız. Dünyada 2012'de sosyal girişimcilik ağına dahil oldum ben Ashoka'nın. Bu yaptığınız çalışmalar bana ve şirkete birçok ödüller kazandırdı. Dünya Sosyal Etki Ödülü aldık 2013'te ve dünyanın 10 başarılı 10 genç girişimcisi arasında yer aldım. Türkiye'de de Cumhurbaşkanlığından ödül aldım ve Davos zirvesinde 2018 yılında dünyanın en iyi sosyal girişimcisi ödülünü aldım. Bundan sonraki tabii ki bunu büyük bir ekiple yaptık. Tek başıma değil, iyi bir ekiple çalışıyoruz ve bunların içinde sosyolog, ziraat mühendisi, mekatronik mühendisi ve çiftçiler de yer alıyor bu ekibin içinde. Bu bilgi geçişini sağlamak için. Ve 17 yıldır bu tür çalışmalar yapıyoruz. Gelecekte de bu sistemlerin, köylerin akıllılaşması, yani akıllı köylerden birçok akıllı köy sistemi kurmak değil, tabii ki kurulmalı bazı noktalara, ama köylerin kendisinin akıllı sistemler ve akıllı yöntemlerle çalışması için planlar yapıyoruz. Türkiye'de de bir tane örnek lise kuracağız. Tarım ve teknoloji üzerine bir lise. TABİT 18 partnerla birlikte çalışıyor ve yayın, teknoloji gelişimi, uygulamalar geliştiriyor ve en önemlisi de çiftçi bilgilendirme eğitimleri yapıyor. Teşekkür ederim dinlediğiniz için. Kopukluktan dolayı tekrar özür diliyorum. Bu beni biraz daha heyecanlandırdı. Bu nedenle de kusura bakmayın. Sorularınızı bekliyorum.
Çok teşekkürler Tülin Hanım. Bu very impressive presentation için çok teşekkür ederiz. I should underline the significance of successful entrepreneurs in our field, the agriculture. It is thanks to them the world keeps up in a fast-paced business environment. They are doing a crucial job in a sustainable development. Osman Bey, dear President, can we take some few questions?
Yes, please, maybe quick ones, a couple of them.
From Professor Biricik. He thinks that deep branch application is quite significant application. Which type of bit size of farms are suitable for this application? Dr. Host, I think this question is for you.
Yeah, and I suppose this is more on the actual processes itself is probably more on a industrial scale, but I suppose it is producing protein to go into monogastrics, to poultry, or to aquaculture as a feed source for those industries. So it's replacing basically on the aquaculture side, it's replacing other fish that would be fed to the aquaculture farms. So it's replacing, it's removing the need to take other fish and feed them to other fish in aquaculture situations. So there's an enormous benefit there in terms of overall ecosystems. So the actual process itself is really an industrial process, and there may be plants, I suppose, around in Turkey and things where those sort of facilities like deep branch technologies are developing could be cited.
Thank you. Another question from Dr. Senem Hacı Ömeroğlu from the Ministry of Agriculture. She says the first genomic research has been done in the United Kingdom. Is there any possibility to make bilateral collaboration in this subject? I think Dr. Host, also for you this question. Could you answer, please?
I'm certainly absolutely willing to ask those questions and things. I do know that Innovate UK, so the UK's government funding mechanism, is certainly very keen to develop bilateral funding relations with other countries in terms of, certainly in the agri-tech space, but across a number of other sectors in terms of moving things forward. And the Innovate UK funding is very much industry-led funding, so that makes it quite attractive to companies to become involved in the funding that's available. So I'll take that forward and ask the people who are involved in the internationalization aspects within Innovate UK.
Thank you. And a question from Dr. Toker. How do you see Sexcel being used by customers in different parts of the world? Breen Jones?
Yes, thanks for the question. Yeah, it's really interesting. There's different countries are using Sexcel in a very different way. Dr. Horst suggested what's happening in the UK there, with nearly 50% of inseminations, or over 50% of inseminations now to sex semen. That's because there's a very integrated beef chain in the UK. So the supermarkets are actually pulling through those beef genetics, which allows the customers to concentrate on producing replacements through their heifer lines. And then you go to places like Hungary, which Hungary traditionally doesn't eat very much beef at all. So they tend to breed replacements from all their dairy animals, but they have a very large export market of heifers. So all the excess heifers are exported to places like Russia and to the Middle East. And then we go to places like India, where they're using Sexcel in a very substantial way to decrease the number of male calves on the ground. And then I suppose we go to markets like the USA, which are really looking for to use their top-end genomic animals to just provide replacements for the next generation. So the top net merit animals for the next generation only. So there are differences across the world in the way in which people use Sexcel. But they all provide economic benefits to the customer. Thank you.
Thank you, Breen. From Itır Aykut, what implications do you think the path to sustainable farming strategy announced in November 2020 to replace the common agriculture policy can have in agro-trade business with Turkey? I think this has to be Osman Bey replied by our ministry. We can forward this question to the authorities. And another question for Yasemin Gürsolmaz. We know that Gökkale has producing fresh milk. Is there any project of the group to go into the processing business? And are you intending to go into the processing dairy products?
Thank you very much, Hanım. In the pandemic, as the minister herself said, we worked 24 hours a day without stopping. What we saw is that our product, instead of the wholesale big customer, went to the consumer. So although the end consumer changed, the product didn't change itself. So I think for our company itself, we are not thinking of branding or processing, but we are developing more new technology and becoming a more localized forerunner in the sector. Genomics is a very important part of our trade, and we are looking to do that locally with the local farmer. I think that is going to be a more important part of the business rather than branding the product. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may ask, His Excellency, dear Ambassador there are questions about the visa issue. Is Mr. Ambassador here? Yes.
The question is to me.
To you, please.
Now, first of all, as some concluding remarks, again, thank you very much for this meeting and for this panel. And also, I would like to thank DEİK and all the panel participants to enlighten us about the potential in agriculture between Turkey and the UK. Of course, this free trade agreement is very important for our future projects and cooperation, not only bilaterally, but also in the third countries. I know that our British counterparts and relevant authorities and government is strongly aware of our relations, our potentials, and they act accordingly to this importance. It is also valid for visa issues. Time to time, I know that it is not easy, but if we look at from the positive perspective, I know very well that also for companies, for entrepreneurs, for innovators, for businessmen, it is not too difficult as in previous years. And whenever our help as embassy or consulate in London is needed, we are always here to give our support to our businessmen and all entrepreneurs and company people in Turkey to come to the UK. I hope after the pandemic, we will have meetings, face-to-face meetings, and also we can receive some delegations to visit London, and I will be able to host all of you here in London to make meetings with your counterparts to enlarge our business in this sector. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Osman, the last question will be Ms. Akın. Tülin Hanım, we are all very much impressed with your achievements. Would you mind if I ask you to share with us your future endeavors?
Aslında biraz paylaşmıştım. Bir tarım lisesi kurma hedefim var. Çiftçi çocukların eğitim gördüğü ve geleceğin çiftçilerini girişimci olarak yetiştirmekle ilgili. Başka ülkelerde de akıllı köyler kurma gibi planlarımız var ve bunun için de adım attık. Ancak pandemiden dolayı ülkeler arası geçişimiz zorlandı. Herkesin bildiği gibi. Gelecekteki yani en büyük hedefimiz gelecek çiftçilerin girişimci çiftçiler, teknoloji kullanan çiftçiler olması ve çiftçiliğin bir kariyer hedefi olarak belirlenecek bir yere gelmesi için yapılacak çalışmalarla ilgili. Bunları yaparken de özellikle küçük aile çiftçilerinin yoğun olduğu ülkelerde çalışmalar yapmayı hedefliyoruz.
Teşekkür ederiz. Dear Chairman, would you like to close the session of today?
I think we ran out of our times. It's been more than 2 hours, and I personally and on behalf of Turkey UK Business Council thank our ambassador, Honorable Ümit Yalçın, and Ambassador Chilcott, and our Deputy Minister, Ms. Işıkgece, for their attendance and for their speeches. And also, I would like to thank all our panelists for sharing great presentations with all of us. I watched the participants number throughout the sessions, and it never went below 100. So we started with 130 or so, and it stayed at 134 almost for the first 2 hours. And So that shows that there was great interest in our webinar, which made all of us very happy. And I personally thank Nurdan Hanım very much for preparing such a great panel and inviting such valuable speakers to our panel. And it was a great job for all of us. And I again thank everybody for their attendance and speeches, and all our participants for their attendance as well. And I wish a great day to everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.